Hello everyone, I'm Sam Rikard. You're watching Mayor to Mayor, and with this episode I am honored to have Mayor Alan Latimer with me from the city of Horn Lake. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mayor. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here.
Well,
Been looking forward to it.
We're glad to have you here. You know, every town and city in DeSoto County is growing, and Horn Lake is no exception.
Yes, sir.
Horn Lake is growing. Your population per the 2020 census was around 27,450 or so. That was about a 5% growth over the 2010 census. You're the 11th largest city in Mississippi.
Yes, sir.
So like all the other cities in DeSoto County, you're moving on up. You know?
We are, sir. Just proud to do so. When I was a kid, we had about 200 people.
Oh, yeah.
Now we got 27,000.
Yeah. Let's see, when I was a kid, we had about 600 here in Olive Branch. We weren't down to the 200, but we had 600. So, yeah, lots of growth everywhere in DeSoto County. And as I said, it's happening in Horn Lake also. Your city, I noticed, is you're the third largest city in DeSoto County.
Yes, sir.
You're, by land size, you're the fourth largest. You have 16.3 square miles in the city, still a lot to take care of. You just adopted your budget, which required by law by the middle of September. You have to do that. What's in that budget that you'd like to tell the citizens of Horn Lake?
I would like to tell them that it's a balanced budget.
Yes.
We're going to increase the number of police, the number of firemen, the number of code enforcers, add more people to animal control, add more equipment, hopefully to continue the trend we have now. Right now we're ranked the third safest city in Mississippi, and we certainly want to make that, our goal is number one. Right. So in the budget we're trying to provide more personnel to serve our citizens and to maintain our quality of life in Horn Lake.
You know, nationwide, the police officers have taken a PR hit. You know, there seem to be some communities that want to defund police departments, but I'm pleased to see that all of the cities in DeSoto County are not taking that approach. They realize the value of a high quality police force.
Yes, sir. That's right up there. Police, fire. Mm-hmm. And ambulance services are right up there at the top. We are, as I said, increasing the personnel in all those departments. We're certainly not going the other way.
Yeah, and I, for whatever reason, being a mayor for 16 years, I have continued to watch the reports that come from the state about sales tax diversions to Horn Lake and Olive Branch, Hernando, and South Haven. And what surprised me when the pandemic hit was that the cities in DeSoto County didn't take a negative hit. We saw gains in sales tax, which I think told me that people were not traveling out of their area to buy things or to eat at restaurants. They were doing so at home, and it looks like to me, following those same numbers, that people continue to do that, because your sales tax for the previous fiscal year was $5.7 million. This most recent fiscal year that ended with the state June the 30th, $6.6 million. So you were up about $900,000 one year compared to the other. Now, who knows what will happen in this next year? You know, there's some thought that maybe it'll flatten out. I personally don't believe it will. I think it will continue to slowly rise, but sales tax is a very important part of your budget.
It's the lifeblood.
Yeah.
And we've been very fortunate to have such a dramatic increase in our sales tax numbers. Part of it is due to the pandemic, and my heart goes out for people who suffered death or illness or loss during this terrible pandemic. Another part of that is we have more businesses in Horn Lake than we used to have. And when we're getting more and more larger businesses. But I'm also encouraged by the number of what economists call mom and pop businesses. People want to start their own business, entrepreneurs. I am so glad that we're getting those, and I'm tickled to death. We've got an Amazon, we've got an O'Reilly's, we have some more we have a big warehouse under construction now, 1 million square feet, and more have been interested. And of course, we've got Circle G. We're ready for them to get doing some things, and we've had people approach us about developing more subdivisions. So we are certainly encouraged by what has happened, and what looks like it's beginning to happen again. And we pray, of course, that's a good prognosis.
Well, my experience, the retail entities that you're talking about that may be looking at Horn Lake, one of the factors, a major factor they look at are rooftops. And in my experience, when Olive Branch hit that about 25,000 population, that's when things really started to take off, and these national firms started looking seriously at the area. So I think the future is bright for Horn Lake.
I think it is, and I think it is for the DeSoto County, and certainly hope so for the state of Mississippi and this country.
Right.
I've been really encouraged by the number of people that are wanting to move into DeSoto County for our quality of life that we provide them. And especially blessed that it's been a good cooperative effort between the county government and the city governments. We don't try to outbid each other. We try to cooperate and bring in things that will benefit the entire county, and by that way, each individual city.
You know, you mentioned working together when an industry looks at DeSoto County. At times, you know, they may be looking at a location in Olive Branch or South Haven and/or Horn Lake, and I think the opinion of all the elected officials in the county, mayors included, is that whether or not they locate in my particular city, as long as they locate in DeSoto County, it's good for all of us.
It's jobs.
Yep.
We, just like so many other areas of the country, we need workers.
Yeah.
We need workers. Just about every one of the major corporations that are in Horn Lake have hiring signs out, and very, very good wages. That's what I'm particularly pleased about, is you can live in Horn Lake and you can have a good paying job. You do not have to leave the state of Mississippi. You do not have to leave your city. You can stay right here, make a good living.
Exactly right. You mentioned Circle G. I had written down some things that are located in Horn Lake. And of course, the significant factor about Circle G is that Elvis Presley owned that for years. And in fact, I think they said he spent his honeymoon there.
It sure did.
You know, at the Circle G, at the ranch there. So that could be a big thing
Yes,
as it's developed.
Yes, sir. They a group from England paid for a marker that was put up a couple of weeks ago. It seems like his popularity, thank goodness, just keeps going, and going, and going. And like I say, this group was from England. They paid for it, had it set up over there on property by the state, because of the state right away. But that's so encouraging, and I will be so glad when things really get going. I know they waited to get national historical recognition, and they had to wait 50 years to get that.
Wow.
So that slowed them down a little bit.
Yeah, Elvis had worldwide fame and following, and he had a really large influence on England and British music. He has a lot of fans and followers there. So
I saw some people from Ireland, and I said I was from Horn Lake, and they said, "Oh, you got a Circle G ranch."
There you go. See, yeah. The claim to fame in Olive Branch years ago, when I would travel, was when I would check in at a Holiday Inn somewhere. You know, everywhere else they say, "Oh, you're where Holiday Inn University is."
Yes, sir.
You know, because all the Holiday Inn employees worldwide came to Olive Branch at one time
Yes,
to be
sir.
trained. You know, now it's called Whispering Woods, but we're not talking about Olive Branch today. We're talking about Horn Lake. But
yes.
You have a lot of parks in Horn Lake.
Yes, sir.
Your flagship park is Latimer Lakes,
Yes, sir.
which the city has really done a good job developing, and you have a lot of events that go on out there. What's going on with parks?
Well, we have, like you said, numerous parks. The one you referred to specifically, they were nice enough to name after my parents because their involvement with Little League Baseball, but they were not the only ones.
Okay.
I've tried to emphasize that to people. There were many people in the community, the Flynn's, the Rosses, Mr. Bobby Stevenson. Horn Lake was a very small town. It wasn't a town, it was just a geographical area in the late 50s when that started. So that was all because of the people in the community coming together. And that's a spirit I would like to see continue to grow in Horn Lake. And we have all those parks. Some of them are quite small, but they're named after, in many cases, people from Horn Lake, like Mr. Wooten and Mr. Burma Jr. Hobbs. They're named
Okay.
after them. And I think our Parks Department does a great job. It works them to death cutting grass all summer. We have 16 parks. It keeps them pretty busy.
I bet it does.
And you were mentioning events. This October the 9th, we're going to have a food truck festival. It's going to be at Delta Tech, right there on Interstate Boulevard, close to the expressway. And I'd like to encourage everyone to come out and have a good time, get some good food, relax and enjoy yourself.
Now the food truck festival is an annual event, right?
Yes, sir.
This is not the first year for it.
No, sir. It's the third year.
Okay, third year.
Chamber of Commerce puts that on.
Okay, great. And you have, like all the other cities, you have Christmas parade. That,
Well, we actually don't have a moving one because we can't go down Goodman Road. It's the state highway
yeah, that would
now.
be dangerous. Yeah, it would be.
So we have people bring their floats and everything and set up in the park. At night, you walk through like a Christmas
Okay.
village. And so it would be nice to have the parade,
Yeah.
but with that being a state highway, we cannot do
Well,
it.
I think that concept, though, is very interesting. It's unique, and it allows the public to spend more time at each float instead of it just driving by and then you see the next one. That
They
sounds like
said-
a great idea.
The Chamber of Commerce people came up with it, and it has been well received. Just like you pointed out, Mayor, that people seem to enjoy just ambling around, talking to their family and friends, looking at the floats, and having a little time to spend Christmas with family and friends.
It sounds like a great opportunity for anybody in DeSoto County to drive over to Horn Lake on that date. And
we'd be glad to see
yeah,
you.
okay. Well, what else is happening? Anything else going on in the city that you would like to tell your people about?
Well, besides the budget being balanced
Yeah.
and things growing, thanks to the increase in sales tax and property tax, we're able to add those personnel and that equipment. Be more businesses. Of course, as you know, you can't discuss them publicly sometimes.
Right.
But we've had quite a lot of interest in other businesses wanting to move into Horn Lake. And as I said previously, we've had some developers come forward with ideas for more subdivisions. And of course, we just want to continue to maintain a good quality of life and encourage our people and visitors to come out and enjoy our parks
Yeah.
and shop in our stores.
Exactly. You mentioned in passing T. Burma Hobbs
Yes, sir.
earlier. A lot of people in the area probably are not aware of his legacy now, because we've had so many people move in since he was the local constable, I believe, in the 60s and early 70s.
Yes, sir.
Maybe there. Mr. Hobbs earned at least region-wide fame, because of his law enforcement abilities over there. We may have to do a separate show on Mr. Hobbs and a few other of the famous people that come from Horn Lake a little bit later.
Well, thank you, sir. Yeah, Mr. Burma Jr., as we called him, because his father was the senior,
Okay.
really, really was a dedicated lawman.
Yeah.
And he worked countless hours to maintain a safe community. Sometimes he got some bad press, but his heart was in keeping our community safe. And he certainly deserved that reputation of being a dedicated lawman.
And he was really, at that point in time, just about your only law enforcement over there.
Yes, sir. Because we were not a city then.
Yeah.
We lost our charter during the yellow fever and didn't get it back till '73.
Yeah, that's another story we could do about history in Horn Lake. Horn Lake has a lot of history that I think that a lot of people in Horn Lake and all over DeSoto County would be interested in learning about. So
Well, every
we
city
need to get
does.
back together.
Yes, sir. Every city does, and we've had so many people move into the county.
Yeah.
They're not familiar with the history of the county, and that is something that kind of binds us all together in this county is studying our history and remembering and honoring those who came before us.
Okay, I think we'll wrap it up now. I'm Sam Rikard with DeSotoCountyNewsroom.com. You've been watching Mayor to Mayor, and I've been honored to have with me today the Mayor of Horn Lake, Mr. Alan Latimer. Thanks for watching.